We've talked about space killing you up there. We've talked about space killing you down here, on Earth. But there are places, actual worlds, with ground you could stand on, where the environment itself is the weapon. No accident required. No malfunction needed. Just step outside, and the place does the rest. One spacecraft lasted 58 minutes before a planet crushed and cooked it. Another lasted just over 2 hours before a different planet did the same. Today, we're ranking the 10 deadliest places in our solar system, and exactly what would happen to you the moment you arrived. This is part 3 of our Space Will Kill You series. We've covered what kills you in space, and what space can do to you without ever leaving Earth. Now we're going somewhere new, to the worlds themselves. Subscribe if you're new here, and let's count down from 10. Number 10, Mercury. It's not the hottest planet in the solar system. That title belongs to someone else on this list. But it has the single biggest temperature swing of any world we know of. During its scorching day, the surface hits 800 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. Step into its weeks-long night, and that same ground plunges to nearly 300 degrees below zero. Mercury has essentially no atmosphere to soften either extreme, nothing to trap heat, nothing to hold it in. Stand in daylight, and you cook. Drift a few hundred meters into shadow, and you freeze solid. There's no comfortable side to wait this one out on. Number 9, Uranus. You'd assume Neptune, the farthest planet from the Sun, would be the coldest place in the solar system. It isn't. When Voyager 2 flew past Uranus in 1986, it clocked a temperature of nearly 224 degrees Celsius below zero in its upper atmosphere, the coldest reading any spacecraft has ever recorded on a planet. Scientists still aren't entirely sure why. Uranus simply radiates almost none of its internal heat back into space. There's no solid ground to land on at all, just a thickening soup of hydrogen, helium, and methane ice that would crush and freeze any spacecraft trying to descend through it, while winds outside howl past 500 miles per hour. Number 8, Triton, Neptune's largest moon. It's one of the coldest objects ever measured, sitting at roughly 235 degrees below 0 Celsius, cold enough that nitrogen itself freezes solid onto the surface, then occasionally erupts back out in geysers that shoot icy plumes 5 miles into the sky. But here's the part that makes Triton genuinely unique. It's the only large moon in the solar system orbiting backwards against the direction of its planet's spin. That backwards orbit is slowly, steadily decaying. Millions of years from now, Neptune's gravity will eventually tear Triton apart entirely. It's not just deadly today. It's a world on a built-in countdown to its own destruction. Number 7, Neptune. This is the windiest place in the entire solar system. Storms here have been clocked moving faster than 1,200 miles per hour, fast enough to outrun the speed of sound and most military aircraft combined. There's no solid surface to land on. Descend far enough and you'd simply be swallowed by a deepening ocean of superheated water and ammonia, pressurized into something closer to liquid metal than anything you'd recognize as water. Outside, supersonic wind. Inside, crushing heat and pressure that only intensifies the deeper you go. Neptune doesn't have one way to kill you. It has layers of them. Number 6, Titan, Saturn's largest moon, and in some ways, the most unsettling entry on this list, because at first glance, it looks almost like home. Titan has rivers, it has lakes, it has weather, with clouds and rain, and an entire liquid cycle. The problem is that none of it is water. Titan's lakes are pools of liquid methane and ethane, the same compounds we burn as natural gas, and its rain falls from a thick, toxic, orange-tinted nitrogen atmosphere. Surface temperatures hover around 290 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. Step outside without a heated, pressurized suit, and you wouldn't just suffocate. You'd freeze solid while standing beside lakes of liquid fuel that could ignite the instant they met real oxygen. Number 5, Enceladus, a small, icy moon of Saturn that hides a global ocean beneath its frozen crust. More than 100 geysers near its south pole continuously blast water vapor and ice particles straight into the vacuum of space, fed by that hidden ocean below. It's one of the most promising places in the solar system to search for life, but it's also brutally hostile to ours. Surface temperatures sit around 320 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit, and stepping into one of those active fissures means simultaneously facing the deadly vacuum of space and a flash-freezing blast of ice crystals erupting at hundreds of miles an hour. Enceladus doesn't just kill you, it kills you twice, at once. Number 4. Europa, one of Jupiter's icy moons, and almost certainly hiding a liquid ocean beneath its shell. The problem is what's bombarding that shell from above. Europa sits deep inside Jupiter's radiation belts, and its surface absorbs a dose of roughly 540 rem of radiation every single day, an amount that would cause severe radiation sickness, organ failure, and likely death in an unshielded human within 24 hours. There's no slow exposure here, no years-long cancer risk to worry about later. Europa's surface would start shredding your cells before your first full day was over. Any future mission here has to either bury itself under the ice or accept a brutally short window of survival. Number 3. Io, the most volcanically active body anywhere in the solar system. Squeezed by the gravity of Jupiter and its neighboring moons, Io's interior is in a constant state of friction-driven meltdown. Over 400 active volcanoes erupt lava as hot as 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit, with plumes of sulfur and sulfur dioxide blasting up to 300 miles into space. But the lava isn't even the fastest way Io would kill you. Sitting even closer to Jupiter than Europa, Io absorbs roughly 3,600 rem of radiation per day, nearly 7 times Europa's lethal dose. At that level, you wouldn't survive long enough to get anywhere near one of the volcanoes. Io kills you from orbit before you've even landed. Number 2. Jupiter itself. There's no surface to stand on, just an ever-thickening atmosphere that eventually compresses into something between a gas and a liquid metal. In 1995, NASA actually tested this. The Galileo probe dropped straight into Jupiter's clouds, and for 58 minutes, it transmitted real data as it fell, enduring 228 times the force of gravity on Earth and temperatures spiking to nearly 16,000 degrees Celsius, more than twice as hot as the surface of our own sun. Then the pressure, by that point over 20 times what we feel at sea level, finally crushed it into silence. And that's before factoring in Jupiter's radiation belts, which are roughly 20,000 times stronger than the ones protecting Earth. Jupiter doesn't have one death waiting for you. It has a gauntlet. Number 1. Venus, Earth's so-called twin, and the most hostile ground in the entire solar system. The surface sits at 872 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead, under an atmosphere pressing down with 93 times the force you feel at sea level on Earth, roughly equivalent to the crushing pressure nearly a kilometer underwater. The clouds above are made of sulfuric acid. In 1982, the Soviet Union landed a probe called Venera 13 on the surface, a machine built more like a deep-sea submarine than a typical spacecraft. It was designed to survive about 30 minutes. Instead, it held out for 127 minutes, over 2 hours, sending back the first color photographs ever taken from another planet's surface before the heat and pressure finally won. That's the record. The best engineering humanity has ever built for this place still only bought 2 hours. Of every world on this list, Venus doesn't just threaten you. It guarantees the outcome. It's simply a question of how long you'll last before it happens. So there it is, 10 places where the ground itself, the air itself, or simply the laws of physics are enough to end you. No accident required. And as hostile as our own solar system turned out to be, it's actually one of the calmer neighborhoods in the universe. Out there, beyond our sun, astronomers have found planets raining glass sideways at thousands of miles an hour, worlds orbiting dead stars that bathe them in lethal radiation, and planets so close to their sun that one side is a permanent ocean of lava. In the next video, we're leaving our solar system behind completely to count down the deadliest exoplanets ever discovered. Which place on today's list scared you the most? Let me know in the comments, subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next one.